Thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome to Inspired Conversations with Kim Evans 2021 podcast with my incredible guest, Gerry Dove. I am so excited to be here today. It's just like my guests keep just getting better and better and better and better. Gerry, thank you so much for being on my show, man. Thank you.
Kim, I am honored to be here with you. It's going to be fun. Let's have some fun.
We're going to have some fun. We're just going to have a conversation.
That's right.
So,
That's
Gerry,
right.
you know what I like to do? I like to always just open up my show and I like to commit my shows to God. And I hope that would be okay if I could just say a quick prayer.
Absolutely.
Is that all right with you?
I appreciate
All
you
right.
doing that. I'm right here with you.
Thank you. So, God, I just want to just thank you, first of all, for being omnipotent, being the creator that you are, the Alpha and Omega, the author and the finisher of our faith. And God, without you, this will be no podcast. Without you, I will have no voice. So, God, I just, first of all, you said wherever there's two or three gathered, you are there in the midst, and we know right near you are here gathered in the midst, and we just want to give you honor. We want to give you honor. We're going to give you grace. We're going to give you thanks, and we just want to praise your holy name. We also, Lord, we just want to thank Mr. Gerry Dove for extending his time, his experience, and his history that's embarking amongst this whole long his career. And we just thank you for him for being a servant and coming on my show. And God, I just want to thank the podcast listeners and the visual learners here that our voices can go as far as the east, the west, the north, and the south. And God, you know what? You're going to land this plane, and wherever it land, that people will be, oh my gosh, they be just so enlightened and lifted, and they will be inspired and motivated. And the words that Gerry shared, my God, that can make an impartation in their life. So God, we just give you praise, the creator. Thank you very much, God.
Amen.
Gerry.
Amen.
All right, let's get to it.
Let's go.
You have so much history. Do me the honor, and I want you to bask in all this. Bask in all this. I tell all my guests, I'm going to give you your bask. Go, you bask. This is Black History Month edition. I want you to absorb it. Because, Gerry, you do. Let me just first say this before I read your bio. For real, man. You do so much for people. You have, you know, as many stars as they are up in the galaxy. Seriously, literally. In your career and what you have done and your love that you have given people and workers, your associates and your colleagues. I think, Gerry, sometimes we just don't give it back to you enough. And I just wanted to I'm only giving you 10 minutes of your whole life of what you have done. So just enjoy it. And let me give you some happy praises. So I'm going to read the Bible. Is that all right?
That's all right. I'm hanging on. Go ahead.
All right. I'm Gerry Dove, and I am a 20 plus year veteran of the entertainment industry. My resume includes a 12-year run at Clear Channel. Yeah, we know Clear Channel. It's now called iHeartRadio in San Francisco. While there, I served as the assistant promotions director of 98.1 KISS FM. I think that's where I met you.
That's where I met you, yes.
Where I met you, Gerry. And was also the community affairs director for all of 10 of the stations in San Francisco cluster. And that was including all these sister stations, 98.1 KISS FM, 107 KMEL, our beloved KKSF, 103.7, Wild 94.9, Star 101.3, and more. I follow up with 5.5 years of Intercom Radio. Yeah, became Intercom, home of the legendary 102.9 KBLX. I served as the promotions director and the community affairs director of San Francisco cluster, including 102.9, KBLX 96.7, Coit, Gerry, 95.7, and the game. I even listened to the game. I like the game from every now and then. While radio was a thing I felt I supposed to do as long as I can remember, I am now the creator and the host of a television online show called I Remember That Song. And that's what we're going to talk about this evening. I like to describe it as me and my friends sitting around talking about music, what it means to us. So, Gerry, I remember that song. Take it away.
I don't know if I can match your energy, but I will tell you a little bit about the show. I did, like you mentioned, I had a nice long run in radio, and I loved it. Anybody who knew me, even in high school, if you flash forward many years and wonder what Gerry Dove was doing, they'd say he's probably doing something in radio. So I was blessed to do 19 years. I had a good time. Got laid off on my birthday
Mm,
3 years ago. 3 years
mm.
ago last week or last month, and so I said, okay, well, God, that's good. I had a good time. Time to do something different. So I decided that I wanted to do a television show, not an online show. I wanted to be on old school TV. I had a friend of mine that worked at Coffee TV 20 that I worked with when I was in radio. I called him up. I said, hey, I got this idea. It's a very informal show. We're sitting in couches and make it look like a living room setting. And we're going to play like 10, 15 seconds of a song. And then we just talk about it. What were you doing? What were you wearing? Where were you living? What was your dance? What would you like about the artist? What do you remember about the song? And they liked it. And so I went and pitched it to the sales director and the program director, and they liked it. And they said, when do you want it to come on? I said, Saturdays at 11, same time Soul Train used to be on. I wanted to be the new Soul Train. And they said, well, we can do that, except that we have college football. You might get preempted. I said, okay, well, never mind that. What else you got? 7 in the morning or 4 in the afternoon? I said, well, I'm not even up at 7 in the morning on a Saturday. So let's go with the afternoon time. And I'll just tell people throughout the day to set your DVR while you're out running around. So Kim, I did all this and didn't really even have a show put together, so now I got to put together a show. So I got with my good friends, Russell Gaywood and CJ Flash, primarily CJ. I wanted him to be the DJ. And I said, CJ, I got this idea for the show. And so CJ just happened to be playing some music in the background. I said, who's that you're playing? It sounds like something like Casey and the Sunshine Band or something like that. Late 80s or late 70s, late 80s, early 80s. He said, yeah, it was he mentioned another group that was from Miami, but was on the same label as Casey and the Sunshine Band. I said, okay. He says, well, you know who produced it? So who's that? He said, Larry Dunn from Earth, Wind & Fire. Wow. I said, you know who was the first person I saw in concert was Earth, Wind & Fire. Wow. And I stopped him and I said, CJ, that's the show. What we just did, we did 2 minutes of the show just now. That one song led to 4 different things, and then it all comes back together. And so that's what it primarily is. And so I got together with Russell and CJ Flash, Antoine Davis from KBLX, who's a good friend of mine, and Dwayne Wiggins from Tony. Went over to Dwayne's studio, said, hey, I need to use his studio because he has all this quirky kind of furniture in his musical studio. I said, this would be a great setting for it. And so I had somebody record it on an iPhone just to see what it looked like. We played the first song. I think it was Ready for the World. Antoine said something about the Jerry Curl edition, and it took off from there. And I was sat there and I was saying, this is going to work. This is going to work. And so one thing led to another. Within a few weeks, we were shooting a TV show. And Kim, let me tell you something. The first time I walked into the studio where we were doing the show, the person I had hired like 5 different cameras, had a crew. We had food set up like craft services. I said, I cannot believe this. I'm doing a TV because I never had television. We got ready to do this opening. They were counting me down 5, 4, 3, 2. I said, hold it. Can y'all believe this? They're counting me down to do a TV show that I created. Well, I can't believe, like, thank you, God, So we did it. The first couple of shows, I was horrible. It wasn't set up the way I really wanted it. So we took a little break, changed our director. He came up with a whole different setup for the show. And we were off and running. And we did 2 seasons, 2.5 seasons. A season of television is like 13 episodes. So we did about 30 episodes. And then COVID hit us in March. And that took it to an online show. And so that's where the TV show, you can see the TV shows online, but I'm sure we can talk about that in a little bit.
So Gerry, let me ask you, we're in season 2, right? So this is your second year.
Yep.
So your first year you started, you was really, really excited. The second year, and then you're located in Oakland. Where's the show actually filmed at?
That television show was filmed in Oakland at a studio called, it doesn't matter because it's not there anymore. Okay. But it's across street from the West Oakland BART station.
Okay.
And a great look. I'll go ahead and say it now. You can see those shows at YouTube, on our YouTube channel, at IRTS Show. Had a great look, great lighting. The guy who was doing it was actually teaching film and television at Laney College. So he used a lot of their equipment. So it looked really, really good. I was very proud of it.
So now you say it's not in the studio anymore. Now it's gone virtual.
Now we're
So
virtual. We're
so
trying to
now
be
it's
like
virtual.
you, Kim.
So now, how has that been working for you? You have your producers and you have your assistants that's with you. So is it being aired somewhat like a lot of the newscaster shows now from different locales, and then you have one camera and then you just bring them all in together? How's that working?
Well, actually, now because of COVID, we're doing a lot like what we're doing now. We have a show with 5 different guests, so there's 6 of us on the show, and then we'll have a guest from time to time. Um, we tape it every we do it live every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
So whereas the television show is called I Remember That Song, the online show is called IRTS Live. And so it saves me a whole lot of money, Kim. Let me tell you that, not having to pay all the studio costs and everything for the television shows. So, but it's still the same thing. We just stretch it out a little longer. Now it goes about 2 hours instead of 30 minutes, and it's the same fun plus entertainment plus conversation equals I remember that song or IRTS Live.
I
It's
think
great.
sometimes, Jerry, in our businesses, guide throws a wrench, and beauty for ashes. And who knows, this might even be much bigger. This might be really the essence of what God wants it to be for you. You
Hmm.
started out as a humble servant, and you did it. You got it 2 years, and you were very successful. You saw your baby come in, and it shown the credibility that, number one, that it was viable, number two, that it was essential, number three, that people liked it, and number three, you had an idea that worked and you had people to back you.
Right.
And so then COVID hit, right? And so
Mhm.
now you had a chance or an opportunity. You had to pivot. Now you could have just closed it and said, I'm good, I had the 2 years and that was okay. But you did not. You continued on and you said, let's pivot.
Right.
Let's kind of like, where can we shift this to keep the same idea and the theme and the essence of what you originally wanted and created, and you
Mhm.
went virtual? Come on
Yes.
now. I gotta, I
Yes.
gotta, I gotta, I gotta, I gotta
Well,
get
thank you.
into that.
Thank you
Come on
very
now.
much.
Come
Thank
on
you
now.
very much.
Come
Thank
on
you very
now.
much. But
Come on
and
now.
and and the online part has been a lot of fun. The great thing about it is that you can be seen instantly from
Yeah.
coast to coast, and we have people that watch us at this point from New York, from the Carolinas, from Atlanta, from Detroit, from all over the place. We haven't had a guy call in one time from Germany, and said he was watching us. So
That's
it's
what
a bit.
I'm saying. Okay,
And then
Jerry, come
we
on
get a lot
now.
more guests that way. I mean, we've had Will Downing on the show. I mean, we had him on the TV show, but now we're going to bring him back onto the online show. We've had a brother named Frank McComb, who is a fantastic singer, talented producer. We've had Michael Cooper, Lenny Williams, Najee.
Did you say Michael Cooper? Did you say
Michael
the
Cooper was
original Michael Cooper? That's
hilarious,
my man, Michael Cooper.
hilarious,
Yes, he
hilarious. Great
is.
stories,
We
great
love
stories,
Michael Cooper.
great
We love
stories.
Coop Coop. we love Coop Coop. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
Wow. So Jerry, okay. So I'm gonna pull up your show because I want people to see it, because I'm sure a lot of people haven't visited your website or
Mhm.
IG. For the youngins, I want to show them some information. But before I get into that, what has been your most defining moment in radio?
In radio. Well, I was fortunate to do 2 things that people really liked and loved about me in radio. I wasn't on the radio, so I didn't have to worry about ratings and people disliking some things I said. I was in promotions and I was in community affairs. So I was either giving you something or doing something for you. And so that was a lot of fun. So I always like to say that I really loved taking advantage of the generous pockets of my corporate radio sponsors and taking care of people who otherwise could not afford to go to concerts and Disney on Ice and Ringling Brothers when they were doing their
Absolutely.
thing. And I can say that I gave away a whole lot of tickets on behalf of those radio stations to some families and people that really needed it. That made me feel really good.
So the reason why I asked you what was your defining moment in radio, because that's where you started.
Yes.
And so that, I think, parlayed into you being into motion, promotions and community affairs. So when you look back at your whole career in radio, promotions, community, not talking about where you are right now, because we're going to land the plane there. What has been the most exciting, probably, season that you've been in San Francisco when you were with the radio station, that you can look back and say, wow,
Well,
this segment of time was my best time? When was your best time, Jerry, when you just really enjoyed yourself?
Okay, what was the year that I met you? Okay, that's because that's in there.
Yeah,
But
because that was back at that was back at Kiss
Kiss,
FM
yeah.
time.
Now let me tell you
Yes.
something. When I was at when I went to Kiss, I had been out of radio for literally like 20 years.
Mhm.
I did radio in college and things like that. I was on the air, I had my own show, all that kind of thing, and walked away from it because I wanted to make more money, chasing money. First mistake you make, don't chase money, folks. But then I always say there are things in life that you have to do, things in life you want to do, and things in life you were supposed to do. And at that time, I had to make some money. so
I get it.
so I started doing some things that I didn't particularly care for. But when I got back into radio 20 years later, it made me that much more ready to do it because I literally was starting from the bottom, starting all over again to get back to the top. And I had enough humility, I had enough um, intelligence to know that this was going to work because it was what I was supposed to be doing. And so I had a great time. Probably it was like the I started at Kiss in '98.
Mhm.
Kiss had only been around for about a year at that point, so it was still relatively new in the Bay. Kiss FM was all about old school music. So we're playing Earth, Wind, and Fire. We're playing Aretha. We're playing The Temptations. And I'm like, I don't have to study this. I live this, so this is good for me. And so I can tell you one time I remember driving over to Bay Bridge to go to work. And I'm paying my money to the person at the at the box, whatever you call it there, right? And they were playing Kiss FM in the background. And I could hear Renell talking because Renell was on in the morning. And I was thinking to myself, guess where I'm going? I'm going right there. Guess where I'm going? So, and it was just really exciting to be a part of that. And so, because when we were rolling with Kiss and KMEL and Wild and KKSF, like you mentioned, we were dominating the Bay. So all of our stations were doing something each day of the week, if not each week for sure. And I got to go to all those things. And I love concerts and got to go to all these concerts. And it was a fantastic time.
Mm,
Fantastic time.
mm. You got an opportunity to go to a lot of galas and
Hmm.
events and see a lot of celebrities and actually, some of the people in our cities like Willie Browns and things like that. Which one was like your most fun promotional event that you did or gala that you and your wife went to? Which is one that you can look back and say, dang, I am so glad I was a part of that. I mean, I know it was thousands of them, Gerry, but which one just kind of like stood out?
Well, people always ask me who were the most exciting people that I met. And you're right. I've met from Snoop Dogg to Lionel Richie.
Oh,
So,
you didn't mention the main one, Tony
oh,
Braxton.
well, yeah. yeah, but Tony,
You're
Tony.
all fave. I see. Look at him. Look at his mouth. Look at him. I had to go there. I had to
Thank you
go
very
there.
much. But I always tell people there are two people that I met that really, really, really just made me like, damn. So we had James Brown come in to Kiss FM when we had first started, like over on Broadway and Battery, and he was wearing like an electric blue jumpsuit, and his hair was all coiffed and everything like that, and it was James Brown, right? And so our DJ at the time was going to interview him was Morris Knight. And Morris is African American, of course I am. And James only wanted me and Morris in the studio. He kicked his people out, and he had an entourage of like 10. He made them all leave. And I'm like, I'm not nobody, James. I'm just a promotions guy. I can't, but he made me stay in the studio with him.
Wow.
And he talked to us. And I remember just looking at him like, he just sounds like one of your uncles or something like that. He's like, hey, Jerry, you gotta play my music, Jerry. We gotta stay together, brother. We gotta stay. I'm like, oh my God, that's James Brown, the Godfather of Soul. And it was just like we were in there for like an hour. And it was just an amazing experience. The other thing was, and this is really random, but when I went over to when Clear Channel, when we merged with the other groups and everything like that, we had a station that was an AM station. And one of the DJs was a guy named Jim Lang, who used to host the dating game show back in the 60s and 70s. I
Wow.
was a little kid watching the dating game. Remember the dating game? And here we are,
Absolutely. I remember
right?
the dating game.
And I just remember as a little kid, I thought that guy was so cool. And the whole thing with the bachelor and the three bachelorettes or the bachelorette and the three bachelors, I said, gosh, I can't wait to be grown up and be cool like that.
Yeah.
And now Jim Lang is working as one of the DJs at the station. And so every time I would see him, I was like a nervous wreck because like that was a guy I looked up to as a kid, you know. So now I'm working in with him. And for a little while, I became the promotions director of the station that he was working. And I'll never forget, I went to an event down at Fisherman's Wharf, and it was Jim Lang and a guy named Lon Simmons, another hero of mine. He used to be an announcer for the San Francisco Giants, a legend. And they were there together, sitting down. And I walk in, and Jim Lang says, "Hey, here comes the boss." And I'm like, so I called my mom and said, "Mom, Jim Lang just called me the boss. I can't believe this." Kim, we had 5 floors in the building. If I went into the bathroom and saw Jim Lang in there, I would turn around and go to the 5th floor. I just didn't want to see Jim Lang like that. I just didn't want to.
Oh my God.
But that was amazing.
Glorious career, Gerry, that you have had when you look back. And let's not mention your office. Your office was like Nirvana to Yogan to, how can I say, Bali to, I'm putting it all up in there to, it was serenity. It was just something I can imagine when artists came through and you took them through the secret doors to your office. It was like, I'm not leaving. Right. Your office, I mean, I remember it was purple or burgundy or something, but it was so healing, even in your office space, Gerry.
Well, thank you. But I just again, I remember there was a 20-year break. And so when I got back in the radio, I just said, you know, I'm glad to be here. I took a lot of pictures with the stars and things like that not because I'm, you know, picture
I get it.
hound or anything like that, but just I was thinking, God, I'm here, man. I'm cool. I'm doing something that's really cool. Let's take a picture and memorize this event. And so we'll post them up, and yeah, people seem to like that and get a kick out of it. And so it's a very musical office, that's to say the least.
To say the least, okay. Yeah. But I think what's so beautiful with all your photos and engagements and being able to meet all the artists and things like that has contributed to your company, IRTS Now Live, because even on your postings on Instagram, you post a lot of photos that you've had experiences of meeting in the past. And that's nice. Don't everyone have that? You know, it's you and Shaka Khan. It's you and I mean, and we're going to go through your Instagram just a tad bit, but when you look at that, it's like not everybody have that opportunity.
Yeah, again, I've been blessed. And to me, really, it's a continuation of the show now, because since we do the show once a week, it's kind of like throughout the week, I have a Facebook page I created, and I'm sure we'll take a look at that, called the IRTS VIP Lounge. And in that page, I post like 5 different songs every day. And it could be someone's birthday. It could be, I have a segment called the Way, Way Back song, where I go way back to something from the 70s or 60s. I post a legend picture because I get on Pinterest. You find all kind of pictures on Pinterest, you know, just crazy pictures, random pictures. I found a picture with Nina Simone and Red Fox.
Oh, God.
I posted that one today. I'm like, nice. And they're looking at some paper, very intent. I'm like, and I just post legend.
And don't you have one with Jimi Hendrix or something that you just post with the guitar?
Bob Marley. It was his birthday a couple of days ago. So yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So I'll honor some birthdays. I'll talk about it. And then sometimes I'll just say, I just felt like hearing this song, you know, so I'll put something up for a song.
What's a wonderful time. You know, we're celebrating Black History Month. This is my Black History Month edition. And the artists that you have is so beautiful. So let's take a peek at what you have. I'm going to share the screen and let's look at... Let's take a look at your beautiful website here.
Okay.
And we're going to start with, would you want to start with your Instagram, Gerry, or your website?
That's the website you got up there. We may as well take a look at that. So as you see at the top there, you can say season 1, 2, and 3. That's the television shows. Okay. So click on any of those. You can see those. And we, again, have had Will Downing. We had Chewy Gomez, we had Larry Batiste, and a lot of shows with just us. You know, here's the team that's coming up.
And then here's
you were scrolling up. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, let's introduce your team, please.
Well, people from the Bay Area know all about the world famous. That's Russell Gaywood and CJ Flash. CJ's in the middle right there. He's my musical director. Okay. And Big Russ is on the panel.
We all know Big Russ.
Yes, we do. Below that is a very talented Ryan Nicole.
Nice.
Like the old soul in a young body. So she's not even a millennial anymore. I hope she don't mind my saying that, but she's got the one of the most talented people you'll ever want to meet. She does spoken word. She
Beautiful.
acts. She directs. She writes. She knows music,
Yeah.
and I wanted her to be on every single show. As soon as I found out that she knew the words to this random Stevie Wonder song that I was singing one day, and she knew it. I'm like, how do you know? Okay, you're gonna be on every show.
I love it.
Yeah, Antoine Davis in the middle is my man from KBLX.
Yes.
He was on with us for the TV show. They've kind of changed his schedule around a little bit, so he's not able to do the live show all the time. But he pops in when he can because they've got him working like crazy at KBLX. But
Mhm.
he'll always forever be part of the show.
I love
And
hearing this show too.
and then Tracy Anderson is the CEO of Plush Life Media. She is my social media guru.
Okay.
And if you follow her on Instagram at plushlifemedia.com, you'll see what she's doing. But all of these people are very talented, busy, accomplished people in their fields. And we have a lot of fun. We have a great chemistry. We talk a lot
Yeah.
of junk to each other. We keep each other humble.
Nice.
And we just have a lot of fun.
Nice. And tell us about your store, about your paraphernalia that you have here.
Well, again, I'm very, coming from radio promotions, you got to have swag. You got to have swag, I guess you'd say.
Absolutely.
And
I love
you
your
got to have
t-shirt
that.
designs. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I started the t-shirt designs. That's again when I met you. I had my G-Dub designs
Hmm.
and had the Piece and Move Forward line. And then, um, did we lose
I
you?
love it. I love it. I love it. We have Martin Luther and Michael Whitney and Natalie Maurice and Prince, Coltrane, Dizzy Duke here, Ella. I love it. And then this one here, mouse pads. And then wait a second, look at your mugs that you have here. This is really, really nice.
Yeah.
That your IRTS mugs. This is nice. This is
Mm-hmm.
very, very nice. Branding is everything. We talked about that. And when you can brand your company actually with different types of products, that's huge. Jerry, this is
Mm-hmm.
very, very nice. And
Yeah.
so
Thank
your
you.
customers can go here. And then, oh my God, do I see masks? Do you have IRTS VIP mask?
Gotta do that. Everybody's got the mask. So we've got the VIP lounge mask, and we've
Wow.
got and we've also got the just straight IRTS mask.
I
And
love
they
it.
got mugs with the lounge, the VIP lounge, and then we got the caps,
I love
snapback
it.
and flat brim caps and things like that too.
I love it. And of course, it's all backed by Purple Cherry Productions. I
Yeah, that's
love
that's
it. This
another one
is
of
your
my
baby.
companies. Purple Cherry Productions is my entertainment company,
Hmm.
and so what I do with them is that I think I see what happened. I think I turned my camera off some
Did
sort of
you
way.
turn your camera off?
Let's see. There we
There
go.
you go.
I don't know how that happened. I swear I wasn't touching anything.
No problem.
But Purple Cherry Productions is again from my radio days where I would get a lot of people calling me up and say, "Hey Jerry, I'm doing the show. Can you give me a singer? Can you give me a spoken word?" And I gotten to know a lot of people in the musical scene in the Bay Area. So I would start getting them little gigs. I said, and
Mhm.
I've had people ask me to manage them. I said, "Well, I don't want to manage anyone. I don't want to be responsible for you getting fed,
I love it.
but we can do shows." And so every year for the last 10 years, I've been putting on the talent part of the big MLK March and Rally in San Francisco. Later on in February, I've been for the last 5 years, thanks to our mutual friend of Deanna Roberts,
Hmm.
I provide the talent for the San Francisco Black History Month celebration that the mayor's office puts on. And then throughout the year, I just get people different gigs and things like that. And that's Purple Cherry Productions. So I decided to make that the production company for the show as well.
I love it. I love it, Jerry. And Deanna Robbins is just a heart and soul. Actually, I'm trying to get her to get on the show as well.
She's
Um,
busy. She's a busy
she
lady.
is an amazing woman with her also planning company. That Jerry,
Mhm.
this is beautiful. This I love your website. Let's also take a look at your Instagram page here.
Okay.
And
Oh
so
yeah,
this
there we go.
here is G Dove Designs for people who have not had an opportunity to come on over and to visit your Instagram. And your Instagram handle is G Dove Designs. You all come on over and follow Mr. Gerry Dove. And give us a little synopsis of your beautiful Instagram page here. Would you?
Well, I have this page. Again, which when I first start, and as you can see, I don't have 1,000 billion followers,
Oh,
but
it's okay.
everything I have is organic.
Yeah,
Okay, there's nothing that's store bought there, you
yeah,
know.
that is
So,
that's a fact.
um, and so what I do is I'll all the pictures that you see, a lot of the pictures that you see here are my legends category. So I'll go, I find these
Mhm.
random pictures and post them up and just kind of things like that, and
Nice.
also promote my show. If you want to go back, well, you see right there in the middle, it says all about Chardonnay.
All right, let's go to this
So yeah,
one.
here we go. All about Chardonnay. Last Tuesday we did a show with an author, Danielle Smith, who used to be uh, the um, the editor for Vibe magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's got her own things that she's going on. She wrote this fantastic article about Sade. So
Mm.
I decided we're going to do a whole show on Sade. And we had her as our guest and played Sade music and talked about it. And it was fantastic, fantastic. So
Nice.
that one is a show that you definitely should see if you like her. And then we also, oh,
Oh,
yeah, there
that's
again,
cool.
just random pictures that I'm finding.
That's cool.
I had
Michael
never seen that
Jackson.
picture before.
Oh, that's
Iman, Eddie, Michael, and John Singleton, of
oh
course. So,
no, that's beautiful. That's
mhm.
totally epic.
And
Epic.
when I find a picture like that, I always say, well, who would you talk to first? And then again, Black History Month, but just
Yeah.
celebrating people that don't get to love anymore. This is Ruth Brown, and she was known as the queen of R&B. She was out in the late '50s and
Mhm.
early '60s, and I saw this picture. I said, that is such a beautiful picture. I'm going to post that up and teach folks because, like I said, with the show and with the page, I like to teach people about music as well. So
Yes. And you know what, Jerry? What you're doing is also is teaching people about our history.
yes,
And that's a
yes.
beautiful thing. This is a beautiful woman. Oh my
Yes, she
God.
is. And if you click on, I don't put the links on the Instagram page, but on the website, IRTS VIP Lounge, I'll click on I'll put a song by that artist too that I'll feature. Not the basic song that you would hear all the time, but just something that's by them that might be their second or third or fifth best song. And just
Mhm.
that's why we say it's, I remember that song. And so you sit up and say, oh, I remember that song.
Jerry, this is wonderful. I
Yeah.
mean, this is
That's
absolutely incredible.
That's one of the greatest bass players that ever lived. James Jamerson from Motown. He
Mhm.
played on 250 plus Motown albums, thousands of Motown songs from about 62 to 68 or so. He was on just about every bass song. There's a legendary story for him. He played bass for
Mhm.
Marvin Gaye on What's Going On.
Mm.
And Marvin wanted him bad, but James was out hitting the clubs. And so Marvin went to every club he could find in Detroit till he found James. James was he was drunk, you know. So,
Does
and
this
he
say
said
born on this day 85 years ago?
yeah, it was his birthday, so I like to feature it when it's their
Wow.
birthday. And so
Wow.
Marvin wanted James on there so bad that James said, "I'll play, but I can't stand up." James Jamerson laid down on a couch on his back with his bass guitar on his stomach, and he played the bass line for "What's Going On
Mm.
his back.
On his back.
Yeah,
Okay. Incredible. That's just
yes,
incredible. I mean,
yeah.
when you go through all these photos like this, Jerry, I mean, I mean, it's just history. I mean, look at all what you've been able to capture on your site. I love this one. This is the Mac, and I love the one
Mhm.
you did with Shaka Khan playing guitar. We didn't notice she can play guitar.
And
And we all
drums.
know who this beautiful diva is right here, Pearl
Mhm.
Bailey. I mean, look at her in
Yes.
her glory, you
Mhm.
know, in celebrating of Black history. I mean, Tender Pendergrass that you have right there, Diana Ross, and look at
I look.
who is this? Who is
Oh
this
my
gentleman
goodness.
right here?
That might have been when I knew you. I actually had some twisties and going down my
Oh,
shoulders. That's a
yes,
throwback. So I had that hair that was going like this, you know.
yes, you had your little locks. Yes.
Yeah.
So what a wonderful,
There's
wonderful
Lionel Richie. Okay,
day.
wait. Look at that Lionel Richie picture there. And if you look right over my shoulder,
Who is
that's
that?
Jim Lang.
That's Jim Lane.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people got pictures with Lionel Richie. A lot of people got pictures with Jim Lang. Nobody's got a picture with Lionel Richie and Jim Lang. For what it's worth, this guy,
You
only
know,
this guy.
out of all your photos, I can't ask you which one is your most favorite. Because I know you just I mean, look, you can't have one favorite. I would have to say this one right here. What's your most favorite?
Oh, um, back when I had my office, I used to do tours all the time with kids. Would come through high school, college kids, and things like that. And one time, one of my neighbors was in charge of a Girl Scout troop, and he asked if they could come and do a tour this Girl Scout group. And I'm like, sure. So there was like 8, 10-year-old, 12-year-old girls, however old they were. And I gave them a tour and they were great. And they were taking pictures and my DJs were letting them pretend like they were talking on the mic. And so at the end of the tour, they gave me a merit badge. They have an actual radio station merit badge. They took a picture, sent me the picture. I framed the picture, framed the merit badge, put it all in one frame. That was my favorite picture.
Love it.
That was my favorite picture.
How you were able to capture this is amazing. From Ebony
The
Magazine.
internet is an amazing thing. You can find anything you want on the internet.
I mean, just as incredible, Gerry. Thank you so much for bridging the gap of history and putting this all in one place.
Thanks for showing that. Yeah.
Wow.
So join the IRTS VIP Lounge, IRTS VIP Lounge on Facebook. Instagram is at GDove Designs.
Okay.
Or at IRTS Show. Either way, with the.
Well, I will make sure to put all those links in the description of our podcast so people can actually find you. So as we begin to shift and almost to end the podcast, so what is next for IRTS?
You've got your hand on my head there.
Do I have it on yet? Do you? What's next? What's next for IRTS Live? What's next? So what's your next? Where will we see it go in 2021?
I would hope that, if you saw on my website, one of the things that one of my 5 dreams and goals is to have it be syndicated. So I would love for the show to be picked up by a network.
Okay.
If not our show intact, I would like to have the concept of the show because, again, I think it's something that you could have it all across the country. You could do I remember that song, Nashville, the country music version. You could do I remember that song, Seattle, the grunge rock version. You could do IRTS, the hip hop version out of New York, and just have different guests and hosts and things like that, but work the template. Or you could take the show as it is and just do all kinds of things like that. So I'd love to have it be syndicated and be picked up. I'm seeing all kinds of different channels on television now. I mean, there's so many different carriers. So I'm working on some things. So just keep your fingers crossed and say your prayers, and you'll know when I make something happen.
You know what, Gerry? That's not too far-fetched. And we're in 2021, and God says just speak it. And so that's why I always say, hey, think big. My aunt used to tell me in order to be big, you have to think big. And so just speak it, because you just never know who's out there watching, what kind of angel capitalists we have, venture capitalists that we have out there. You just never know. But I will say this. Do you remember when the show came on, the entertainment show? My mind escaped me just for 1 second. And we had, it was the biggest thing, and all the talent with, oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot believe that my brain is.
Are you talking about like an American Idol show?
There it is. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gerry. It was American Idol, right? It was huge.
Right.
But then American Idol got picked up in London. So American Idol went out there. And then wait a minute. Then American Idol, we had one in Japan. We had it over in Asia. They picked it up there. And then they had it in another foreign country, all starting here in the U.S.
Right.
So dream big, GDove, dream big.
I like
because
the way
if
you
you
think.
can start your company here and you can have this as a network, because you just spoke it, say Nashville. That is not too far-fetched for the creator and the God that we serve. I think that's a wonderful dream to have. Think big.
The other thing too is that I always remind people that we are in the 4th largest media market in the United States.
Right.
San Francisco, there's New York, there's LA, there's Chicago, and then there's San Francisco, Oakland. And so to do what you're doing, to do what we're doing, and have people watch it, that's kind of a big deal. It's not like we're in, no offense to it, but I'm not even gonna say a town because I don't want to offend anyone, but we're trying to make a mark in a pretty large market. And so
I say, Gerry, just be consistent. Thank God it's virtual. It's virtual for a reason. Watch your numbers, watch your stats, put it on YouTube, watch where people are coming from around the world, because people would look at that when they're looking at, okay, well, what are your stats? What are your followers? How long you've been on, how people are watching you, looking at all that. You just never, ever, ever know. I can see it huge. I actually already see it being picked up. But now, before we end the show, now I cannot, this is Black History Edition. Now, I cannot end this show, Mr. Gerry, without talking about your fashion finesse. It's like wherever you go, you got the GQ of fashion. If it's not the socks, it's the tie. If it's not the tie, it's the bow tie. If it's not the bow tie, it's the cufflinks. We're watching you. My question is, when are we going to come out and brand G Dove Men's Furnishings? Tell me something about that. What makes that just so click with you? Always on point wherever you're out. Let's talk about that for a second.
Well, first of all, thank you. And second of all, I've just always liked clothes. Ever since I was a little kid, I got a picture of when our family went to Disneyland one time. And I was like skinny. I mean, like I was like Cambodian refugee skinny.
Oh my God.
But you could count my ribs and everything in there. But, I just was a skinny kid. But I had on some purple jeans and a purple striped shirt. It was tucked in. I was, and just always love clothes. And so I've got an idea. Can I share with you an idea that I have about clothes? I told you the story earlier, and I won't bore these people with that long story now, but I'll just say that I'm working on an app that will help you to I call it Last Time I Wore It. So it'll help you, like what we're wearing right now. We'll take a picture of ourselves. I say I was on with Kim Evans, and the speaker and business coach, and I was doing her show, and this is what I wore. So when I get ready to wear this again, or wear the jacket again, or anything like that, then I'll pull up this app and say, when's the last time I wore this? Take another picture of myself, a selfie, and it'll tell you wore that on February the 8th on the Kim Evans show. You wore it on September the 12th. Except that I'm going to have it in there to where all you do is you take a picture of it and it finds it for you. So there you go. And so that's just the basic. I won't give you any more details about it because I don't want anybody to steal my stuff. But I've got a developer that's working on it. Got my partner on it. So as soon as we get out of this COVID thing, or at least we see there's a window when people are going to go out and start doing more than wearing sweats on the bottom, which is what I'm doing now, and then we're going to work on that too. So I think that'll be a lot of fun to work on, and really for people who love clothes or fashion like you do, I think it'd be something that you could do.
You know what, Gerry? I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that is just beautiful. I think that's amazing. It sounds like that's part of your next.
Yeah, would you pay $20 for a whole year for that service?
Absolutely. Okay. If people could get on Bedroom Candy's app and pay her $20 for her, she has an app called Bedroom Candy. Then they could get on your app and they can pay that for fashion. Yeah. I study apps.
And you could do it. If you're a sneakerhead and you got thousands of pair of Nikes, then you could do the same thing with the app. You could put on when you wore those Nikes. You could do it with. It's like a diary. It's like all kinds of things, that you could use for it. If you have an accessory person, that lovely necklace that you have on now, you can do all kinds of things like that. So
I think that's
going to be big.
It sounds huge. And I'm gonna bring it back to you 1 year later. I'm gonna say, Gerry, what's going on with that we talked about, that idea? I'm gonna make sure that you don't let it die. Okay. Nope. So as I leave the podcast, as we end the podcast, Gerry, I always like to ask a few just questions that are off topic. And you're so high fashion. So out of all what you do and wear, what's your favorite color that brings you the most joy?
Purple.
I don't even know why I had to. I shouldn't even have to ask. What is the significance? What is the significance of purple?
Well, as I've grown up, I recognize that purple is about royalty. It's about Prince, who's my favorite artist of all time. Okay. I just love the color. I always have.
I love it. All right.
It's a regal color. It
is a regal color. Yes. It's a royal color. Totally. Yes. When the pandemic ends and borders are clear, where's the place that you would like to travel?
I want to go to Los Cabos. Ooh. I went there a couple of years ago for a jazz show in November of 2019. I've been to Cabo San Lucas, but Los Cabos is 20 miles away. It's kind of like going to Maui or going to Honolulu, so it's a little more grown up in Los Cabos, not as quiet. gorgeous place. I want to go back there as
Nice.
soon as I can.
Nice.
Hmm.
And what is your favorite food that brings you the most joy when you allow yourself to eat it?
Lemon meringue pie.
Woo!
I never had, my mom never made me a birthday cake. She always made me a lemon meringue pie. To this day, I'll eat lemon meringue pie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Really?
Yes.
And when is the last time you've eaten that?
What time is it? No, no,
I love
actually,
it.
last month was my birthday, so I had some on my birthday last month.
Gerry, happy belated birthday. It's
Thank you.
always a blessing. May God bless you with many, many more. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
being a guest on my podcast
It was fun,
show.
fun.
Is there
I
any
hope I didn't
closing?
talk your head off there.
No, not at all. Is there any last minute words that you would like to leave with the viewers before we end the segment?
Well, if I may speak to your viewers, and I want you to know that this person that you're watching here, Miss Kim Evans, is a force of nature. So to watch her and to be around her and to see you grow as you've watched me, I've watched you as well. I'm very proud of you. I'm very happy for you, and to see you doing this as a person who loves to help and mentor and coach and teach people. I think you found your element too. So good for you. Continue to support her, please, and when you get a chance to meet her, she'll give you a big hug when it's okay, and you're going to feel better than you did the day before. So trust me,
Um,
I'm a big team Kim Evans.
Thank you so much, Gerry. And thank you, viewers and listeners, for tuning in to Inspired Conversations with Kim Evans. Thank you, Gerry, for being my guest. And bye for now.
Bye bye.